What's up guys, Loops here. Today we have a bit of a different build, but it's something that's not too far out of the way for me. It is an extension of a base that Evil Worst did. I believe he called his the Dolphin, where it was a base built to hold a rib, and it's kind of like an auxiliary base, or a base that you put on the edge of your compound, and this one is. The main intention is to hold boats as a boat base, but this is kind of a beefed up boat base that also has a helipad, anti-air defense, massive Dropbox facility, and a bunch of other shit. So this is something that you put on like the far end of your compound near the water to store all your fun toys. That's why I'm naming it the toy box, because you throw all your vehicles and extra weapons and shit like that in there. So to start off, we have these two gates here, and then we just build a square in the middle, and then build off of it and wrap around on both sides to make these, well, make a big M or W shape. And just kind of build off the squares there. They should fit right if you, it might take a couple tries, but they should fit. And then we just build triangles, enough to have 4 squares in the middle. And this base is going to end up having a 4x3 at the core. And then we just honeycomb it up. So it is pretty simple building. All of this is very easy. But this is not something that you main out of. This is something that you put on the other end of your compound. It has like a similar purpose to a heli base, except it's not for fighting helis, it's for taking cargo and oil rig. That's the main intention. Or just getting places fast, because this is really just one big vehicle locker. It has protection for all your vehicles. And this is a very endgame thing. This is something that you build once your base is done and you have nothing else to do with your resources besides upkeep. But hopefully for most people it's not too hard to do. I also do include a pretty big electric system in this base, but I fast forward over most of it because it's all really simple electric, and I'm not the greatest person to be explaining electric because I can do it, but I'm not great at it, so I'm really not the best person to explain it. So I just kind of skipped over it. I have my electric done, but it's really just the electric system that runs the 2 SAM sites and an auto turret. And I think I didn't even do it right, which is, it just goes to show I shouldn't be doing electric. So just as a proof of concept, you can actually fit 2 ribs in here. But well, it's a pain in the ass if you do that, and you have 2 stalls to fit 2 ribs. But you can fit 4 ribs total, or 2 ribs and just a bunch of rowboats, as I kind of show here. So yeah, just kind of playing around with spacing. Make sure everything fits right. Make sure you have enough space for all the stuff you want. Or make sure you don't have too much space and waste resources. So right here, I'm just like testing stuff out, kind of showing what you can fit in here. Which is, in fact, a lot of stuff. So we're going to make the airlock heading up from there to the main, and then honeycomb across. And then we just gonna throw some garage doors on here. Everything should fit together nicely. I didn't separate the boxes on top because I just wanted to throw an ass ton in. This isn't really meant to be all that safe. It's mostly meant to just be a massive drop box where you can drop the loot from an entire raid. And from like raiding big bases. This is where you drop the loot for that. So just throw as many boxes as I can across here. That's what the goal was. Which I can fit quite a few, but if you do want it safer, you can separate them out how the bottom is and only have 6 boxes instead of like 9. Then I just threw in garage doors because I like garage doors for these. And then I actually extended the airlock here because I realized that it would have came into the loot room, which I don't really want. So just kind of extended it by one so that it moved a little bit further along. And then you just kind of segment everything off with doors. Well, besides, you gotta put your furnaces in. I put a big furnace room in here, which is probably the equivalent of having a furnace base. But I just kind of I wanted to use up the space, so might as well just use it on furnaces. Speaking of which, placing 6 furnaces in one room is always a pain in the ass. I hate doing it. It's obviously very doable, but it's just a pain to do every time. Then we just kind of door everything off, segment it all up. So right here I was deciding what to do. I really wasn't sure on where I wanted to go with this, but I ended up figuring out that I was just going to cut in like that. And I wanted to do walls here just to keep it kind of protected from outside so people can't peek and spray you in while you're just trying to get shit done. And it's going to be 1.5 walls high total, or 2.5 walls high, sorry. So we just start doing our framework here to keep it stable because it is such a big room. It needs a lot of door frames to keep it standing upright and keep the roof up. So it takes a little bit of testing to get the roof on right because it is such a hard balance, but it's 100% doable, as you'll see here. You just kind of got to build it in the right order. And you have to also have the right stabilizers. Alright, now we can build the second floor of our base component. So this base is really made up of 2 parts, the base part and the garage part. So the 3x4 is the base, and the big fucking garage would be the garage. And then we can start laying out the roof for the top of this. So there is no middle here, and it's going to be a little bit off center because it is a 3x4. So what we're going to do is just kind of cut one of the edges off here, which ends up happening to make it a 3x3. So we just kind of cut one of the squares off because it's not really needed. And we end up just throwing up some barbed wire on top of that. This is kind of uneven, but that's just how it's designed. Then a half wall on top of all these. And then we're going to put our ladder hatch in one corner and half wall the rest of the way around here. And slap a roof on that bitch. And there's the beginning of our landing pad / roof access area. Then we're going to put shot fronts on all of those so we can see the helicopters coming in and landing from our control room / tower. Excuse me. And this is the part where our electric starts, so I'm about to speed it up to go ultra zoomy speed, so that you guys don't have to deal with this bullshit. So I'm going to pop the battery in here, and I actually cut most of the electric because, like I said, I'm not the one to be explaining this. So if you want to learn how to do electric, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube. I might make one at some point down the line, but for right now, this is just at super speed because electric is kind of boring to watch being built. It's really not that watchable. So my semi-functional electric system is just kind of built off camera besides the part that I'm speeding up here. But what I am doing that I will explain is just laying out the components that will be attached, and I'm not doing any of the wiring yet. But it does require a lot of components. Root combiners is what I'm putting here, and this combines all the power from all the different solar panels together. And this one solar panel is giving me trouble not connecting, but yeah, this is about all I'm going to show you for electric because the rest of it's just a complicated mess and it's very hard to follow. So like I said, electric is a specialty of mine. So yeah, let's just jump ahead to building the actual landing pads themselves, which are a bit more fun. Which they're just going to be 3x3 squares. That's, you know, nothing insanely special about them, but they are going to be on a half wall, so they're kind of above the normal ground, so that heli sits up higher, so it doesn't accidentally interfere with the barbed wire, or it doesn't get caught in the barbed wire, so it's just held a little bit higher. Also, it's just easier to land on a higher up pad like this. Excuse me, my nose just got stuffy all of a sudden. And then I just do armored in the middle, so you can kind of aim where you want the belly of it. And to finish this up, all we need is barbed wire, which does make it look very badass. So barricades can be hard to do. It's just like you gotta take your time before you place them. Make sure you know where you want stuff. And I just did these little guardrails right here so you don't actually run into your own barbed wire in accident. And you don't actually need to build it behind the gates because the gates have their own barbed wire on it, but you can if you want to. But it's not like as crucial that you get it right. That's it for the base. Now all we do is I just put up some high externals just to show what this would look like on the edge of a compound. And just throw some scrap transport helicopters on the roof to show you guys how this thing looks. So let's load these up with fuel and toss them on the roof because they are really cool looking once you have them set up. So it is pretty easy to land, just as I'll show here. If you're familiar with the scrap heli, then it should be no trouble at all to land on a 3x3. If you're new to it, however, it might take a little practice, so I suggest going on a build server like this one. Just make the 3x3 pad and practice tossing it on. It's pretty forgiving when you're landing though, if you land on the edge, because you can just pick it back up and throw the rest away on. So yeah, let's throw one on the other side, and I'll show you what the whole setup looks like. Just a nice easy flight over. Works a lot better when the SAM sights are turned off. Make sure you keep those off when you're flying. And that's the setup. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Loops, and I will see you guys in the next one.